Throb.
Throb?
Terry Shine, lead singer of Kids Next Door. Teen idol.
Heartthrob?
So I believe.
And you're...
Representing him. Copyright plagiarism.
The song?
Allegedly stolen from... grunge, I think the term is.
The Throb nicked the song from the grunge.
It's a wonderful thing, the English language. You couldn't say that in German, I'm telling you. You know why? They don't have the words.
Don't you ever stop long enough to stop. Get your car out of that gear.
It should be me. What does he know about music? Who's the solicitor?
Stevie.
I'll stamp your foot.
This is really very, very, very immature on her part.
Beat your tiny little fist against my chin.
It's obviously my kind of case, and she briefs him simply because...
You treated her very, very, very badly.
You shouldn't mix the personal with the professional.
Look, from where I was standing, I thought that was the whole point of you and Stevie. And it looked okay from your point of view then. Go on, have a little tantrum. Go ahead, the floor is yours. If Tom can be Travolta, you can be Shirley Temple.
We're going to have to be grown up about this, Alex. I'm going to be briefing Chambers, you're going to be in Chambers. Let's try and be civil with each other, shall we?
The finishing straight. The race for a place in Chambers. Who's it going to be? I bet you know, don't you? In your heart of hearts, which of you has his or her nose in front? Well, here we go. Last chance to shine. Two-handed unchristian burial. When did we drop in and see which one of you's shining?
Unchristian burial.
Brother and sister put their old man in a hole in the garden.
Which of us is doing which?
Well, what do you think? Gender? Shall we do it by gender?
Fine.
Fine.
His and hers.
Who's first on the indictment?
The brother?
Hussein's client.
Yes, miss.
Which means your favourite candidate gets the chance to go first and impress, whereas Morag...
Miss.
What's this?
Driving thing.
What kind of driving thing?
Drink driving thing.
A trial.
Plea.
Oh, Peter!
Yes, miss.
What's a grown-up girl like me doing drink driving for? What's the thinking?
Well, you didn't much fancy the real McCoy last week. I thought something more easy-paced would suit.
So the lesson is, don't show any moral queasiness about representing the most violent family member of the most violent family ever when your senior clerk is in bed with a whole lot of them.
Jesus was a good teacher.
I beg your pardon?
The great thing about the Lord Jesus is that he was never on the nose in his teachings. Parables, subtle little lessons, metaphors and that.
And that?
What it really was that he showed people how to work stuff out for themselves. Much the best way, don't you think, miss? I fancy a drink. Later, miss.
You've got to decide. As a manager in the music business, squeaky or dirty? Are you going to manage clean boys or rock and roll? As you can see, I've gone for squeaky. No trouble. You'll know yourself as a 10%er, the joy of managing boys. You pull in the cash and don't kick up. He's the kind of lad your mother would have in for a vanilla slice. And that's the acid test of squeak.
My name is Harry Ovenden. I'm 65 years old. Jean is 62. And I kidnap her from the marital home she shares with her husband, Ken.
In deepest suburbia?
Deep, deep sofa land. Ken and the police put Jean's picture in the local papers. And 3 days later, a hotel manager in Scarborough recognises the lovely Jean, and her ordeal is over. Back to crocheting and small cups of tea for Jean.
Meanwhile, Harry...
I'm looking at enough years to see me through till death.
Death?
If I lose this one, it'll be my first death sentence, Billy. Hello.
Hi.
Holiday?
Moving.
Right. What? New place?
Tom's place.
God. I mean, right. With a view to...
View to nothing, just see how it goes.
You should ask her.
Maybe I will.
Tom was thinking...
Stevie was thinking you might like to come and see my rock and roll case tomorrow, since you're not working.
Watch you work as well as move in with you.
All set?
All set.
How old are you?
28, why?
Desperately young to be on the shelf.
I'm
What, Alex? Torn between two women who don't want you anymore?
Tomorrow, sir, you're listing for the OAP thing. 10:30.
Where are you going?
Out. Clubbing, drinking, shagging.
Dale and gold mine. Terry and the boys. But if they lose this copyright case, they're yesterday's newspapers. And who wants yesterday's newspapers?
Nobody in the world.
We have a lot in common, me and you.
The difference between you and me, Jimmy, is that you talk a lot, and you talk a lot because you're scared, and you're scared because you don't trust your boys. Deep down, however clean you think they are, you just don't know. And my 10%'s never under threat. None of my boys and girls throw tellies out of windows or nick each other's chart-topping jury speeches. My mine's the gold mine, because it's got diamonds in it. You've got pop stars in yours. Hello, Alan.
That's,
Yeah. This is their manager, Jimmy Rizzo, Alan Green.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, you would have. I supply your boys with their nostril-expanding material. Here. Mark of respect and gratitude. His and hers.
Hers?
Rose, the woman who does.
I'll make sure she gets it.
Morning, miss. Funny calling you miss.
Funny.
Well, after, you know... milk.
What's this? Billy?
It's a gift.
Is it?
Yeah.
From? Cough, Johnny boy, now.
Alan Green. Please, miss.
Send it back.
Don't you dare.
Did I club, dance, shag? I went home, watched telly too much, wore slippers a bit, and ate toast.
Right.
Always gives me a massive headache not going out. Slippers, toast, television. It's a terrible noise. Happiness. Look at it. Makes rock stars of us all.
Clear on what you're running?
I wasn't there. I don't know anything about burying Dad.
Nice and simple.
That's the problem.
You've got nothing to do.
And so I won't have a chance to impress Wendy.
It doesn't matter.
Failure to provide a Christian burial.
Morning, Hussein.
Christian is defined as decent. The prosecution has to show the burial is indecent. I think I can pull it off. I think I can run It's Not Indecent to Bury Your Father in the Back Garden and win. Is Tom in yet?
Modesty, modesty, modesty.
But it's impressive.
Winning quietly, which I'm sure you'll do, is so much better than losing with a lot of noise, which I'm sure he'll do.
You're just saying that to...
No, I'm not. He won't win. I don't think the average jury is going to buy Dad under the rose bush is not indecent.
I buried me dad. It's what he wanted. He spent his whole life working on a production line. Cars. He didn't want to end up on another line full of people under the ground.
Cremation?
Too final.
Right. You hadn't seen him for months because you didn't get on.
So?
Where do you live?
Rotherham.
Unemployed and living in Rotherham.
What's that got to do with this?
Did he mind much, you not having a job?
Yeah. He minded.
Very good of you.
What?
The estranged son carrying out his father's bizarre last wishes.
I told you. It's what he wanted.
Your sister Celia, she lived at home, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Good.
So, you're a nurse?
At Jimmy's.
And you nursed your father?
Yeah. 15 months of dying.
At home?
At home.
And when you say you weren't really involved with the burial?
I let it happen.
And you're worried you're going to lose?
Yeah. I could lose my job. Yeah, I'm worried.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
The tragedy is that if you'd left Yorkshire, you might never have been picked up. The police only put a picture in the Yorkshire papers. Bolton wouldn't have been far enough, or Blackpool, but Scarborough did for you. Why didn't you go further, Mr. Ovenden?
I want to plead guilty, Mr. Hay.
Why?
Feel like I should.
Bad words, feel, should. No, not bad. Wrong.
Why?
No one should plead guilty to anything unless the evidence is so completely, massively overwhelming, or the credit for pleading is big enough to make a difference.
Credit?
Reduction in sentence for putting your hands up. The evidence against you is strong, but not overwhelming, and I can usually unpick strong.
And what about the credit? The reduction?
Judge Stiles. Our judge, otherwise known as Maximum Mandy. She'll give you a quarter off, but a quarter off an awful lot still takes you way past the national average.
National average?
73 for men, 76 for women.
I'd die in prison.
Chances are.
All right.
Good man.
Well, you're a good talker, Mr. Hay.
It's my job.
I mean, just now, talking to me. But I'd like it if you took your wig off, so to speak, when we're across the table from each other.
I know what you're saying.
Harry.
What about you?
Me?
You going to talk to me? About Scarborough, for instance?
Integrity.
Integrity?
We've never sold out. We've always stuck to what we stand for.
By which you mean you have no recording contract, no manager, very few gigs, and no prospects.
We play the Old Dog every other Sunday, where we are appreciated.
The Old Dog?
Temple of Grunge.
Do you play anywhere else?
No.
Because expanding your horizons would be selling out.
It can easily happen.
Are you seriously suggesting that someone as apple pie as Terry Shine has spent time in the Old Dog?
Did I say that? I didn't say that.
Well, how else would he hear your song in order to steal it, as you allege? Mr. Cant, are you lost for words? Or do you need time to reapply your eyeliner?
He took me away in his car to Scarborough for 3 days. In Scarborough, in a hotel.
Do you know this defendant?
No. A little. I've seen him. He lives near us, I think.
Have you any idea why this man might want to kidnap you?
No. Not at all.
We'll take a short break, Mrs. Preston. Time for you to recover.
In steps Maximum Mandy with a subtle but effective pro-prosecution moment. She never looks at him.
You kidnapped her. Victims always avoid eye contact with offenders.
There's not looking and there's not looking.
You all right? About Tom and Helen.
Fine. It's as if she feels guilty, as though she's apologizing.
Helen?
Jean, the woman, the victim.
Some women are so defeated they apologize to everyone, even men who committed crimes against them.
And they do something. Both of them, Harry and Jean. They carry something around with them. It's a kind of sadness, maybe.
There you go.
There I go, what?
Sadness, maybe. Spot it a mile off. Celia Johnson talk. Sadness, maybe. Do you think, Billy? Or is it something else, my darling? Something neither of us will ever quite understand. All you posh boys come over all Celia when you're lovesick. Fine, fine, my arse.
What's this?
He told me not to send it back.
You're my clerk, Johnny boy. You do what the barristers say.
He said...
Yes? He said what?
He said you'd be all right about it. He said a couple of days...
Well, I come round. I'd see the wisdom of accepting appallingly expensive presents from appallingly violent men.
Yes, miss.
Where is he? Where is he, Bob? In his other office? How much did this cost?
Enough.
I wasn't asking you. How much, Peter? Your conscience? Your soul? Tick fucking tock. There goes your soul.
Look, not now, Rose. Not here. The watch is actually...
No!
No?
Much more than the watch.
Look, let's go outside and talk about this, Rose.
So Mr. Big Shot over there doesn't get the idea you haven't got quite all of us under your thumb, is that it?
Listen.
You've undermined the integrity of the Chambers. You've undermined my pupil, my home life, my values, my independence. You're fucking around with other people's personal lives, and you're fucking around with my relationship with Billy. Who the fuck do you think you are?
You used to have grace and a sense of humour.
There's nothing wrong with me. Don't you dare try and turn this round. This is about you, not me.
And perspective, the watch.
What wouldn't you do for Alan Green? When is the moment that one of us is going to be more important than him? Huh? What would that take, Peter? Huh? What would he do for you, Alan?
Listen! I've got dirt under my fingernails, I've got a liver shot to hell, and I've got no family apart from you lot. Now, why do you think that is, Rose, eh? You're right. I sup with the devil, and the devil pays for everything you've got, right down to Daniel's nappies.
Same watch. Slap. Same brush. Dirt's coming out, and I won't have it.
The bottom line is, Rose, if I didn't exist, you'd have to invent me.
This is how much this is worth.
Rose.
He's not going to change. I think...
What?
I think the balance has shifted too far. I think he's grown too big.
And what do you suggest we do about that?
Talk about him.
Talk.
Get together and decide whether he's worth it.
A Chambers meeting. Talk to people, find out if there's any real support for what you're thinking. I'm not calling a meeting unless I know there's proper support for what you're saying. It's too damaging.
Then I'll get it, the support. I'll get it. I want him out, Wendy.
Did you scream and shout when you were being put in the car? Did you try and get free? Wasn't there a single moment in the 3 days in the hotel when you might have tried to escape?
Don't.
Don't? Why not?
Just don't.
What's going on, Harry? I can put your reluctance to have me destroy Jean in cross-examination down to one of two things. Either you're guilty and feeling so remorseful you don't want to see your victim suffer more, or you know Jean better than you're letting on. You're a unique client for me, Harry. Older than the kind of punter I usually talk the talk for. But the remorse thing, I've never seen it. Not in rapists, not in paedophiles, not in murderers. So my money's on the second thing, Harry.
You're talking in that way again.
No, I'm not. This is me. Wig off. Answer the question, Harry. How well do you know Jean?
I want you to leave her alone in there.
Celia, she had nothing to do with it, the burial.
And do you believe her?
Yes, I do.
Is that a warning?
No, it's a sharing of information. I'm sure you'll be as open as me.
I was going to run a brilliant defence.
Which was?
It's not indecent to bury your dearly beloved in the back garden under a rose bush.
But?
But I don't think it was Darren.
You think it was the sister?
Celia. And Darren's covering for her, protecting her.
And you want to know which defence you should run? Not indecent or it was my sister.
Given all the circumstances.
Namely that the sister whose throat you'll be cutting is represented by your rival for a place in Chambers.
Yes.
Do the right thing.
Which is?
Cut her throat. Your duty is to your client. Everything else is irrelevant, including the question of whether or not to be a shit. Be a boy. Do over the girl. Do you ever wear eyeliner?
No.
Right.
Hi, Hussein Ali here. Yeah, I need to know the con with Darren. No, today.
This wasn't kidnap, was it?
It was.
Why did you look at your husband before answering the question?
I expect because she's a 62-year-old lady who doesn't much enjoy being harangued by you, Mr. Hay. That would be my analysis.
And is it yours, Mrs. Preston? Is it your analysis?
Just support. I just wanted support.
Support? Or is it that you can't open your mouth without his approval? Is it that you can hardly breathe without his approval? Is it that you wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for him?
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
You know Harry Ovenden, don't you? You know him much better than you're telling us.
Leave her. Leave her.
No.
Or should I say you know him much better than your husband will allow you to say?
No.
Will you do something for me? Will you look at Harry Ovenden? Will you look at him? Will you tell this court that you don't know him?
Stop! Leave it alone.
I think, Mr. Hay, you should abide by your client's very clear instructions.
Have you ever been to the Old Dog, Temple of Grunge?
No. Why would I?
Why wouldn't you?
Why would I?
Yes, why wouldn't you?
Well, I wouldn't.
No, why not?
Why?
Yes.
Because I'd stick out like a sore thumb. And to be honest with you...
Yes, Mr. Shine?
I've got no reason for going there.
And we've heard that the Old Dog is the only venue that one can hear Hot Wet Leather play. So it stands to reason that if you haven't been there, you can't have heard the song to steal. Thank you, Mr. Shine.
My pleasure, and God bless.
If we run with the it's not indecent defence, then it's high risk and chances are that both you and your sister will go down. There's the other way, Darren. That it was Celia who did it. And that you've been telling the whole world, including me, that it was you to protect your younger sister who's got much more to lose than you. If we run with that, then at least one of you will have a fighting chance of staying out of prison.
Two cons in one day. I think Hussein might be changing tack. And I'd guess that you might be getting into cutthroat territory.
They're brother and sister.
It's not going to bother Hussein. After all, there's a lot hinging on who Betty's who.
Sit. You know what I hate about America? Aside from them buggering about with our language. The electric chair. It's an abomination. They even execute people with very, very low IQs. Did you know that? Terrible thing. But if you want power, if you want to be the governor of a state, or get your cock sucked by some Polish bird what looks like Donny Osmond in an office that's fanny-shaped, you have to let it happen. People have to fry. Zzz. So, Johnny boy, you know something that I don't?
Yeah.
What? Rose. Talking. Organising.
Tell us how you write a song.
Well, it starts in your head.
Yes.
And then I'll leave it there for a bit.
And then what happens?
Well, and then I hum it.
To yourself?
No, to the band. And then we play it.
Can you write music?
No.
Would you agree that this is far and away the most complex song that you've recorded?
Complex, yeah.
Too complex for you. Too complex to be hummed into existence.
What?
You stole it, didn't you? You're no composer of music. Or do you expect us to believe that it was complete coincidence that you came up with exactly the same melody as Mr. Cairns? Are you lost for words? Or do you need time to reapply your innocence?
Let's go and get a cup of coffee.
Is this usual? Halfway through a trial?
No. But we're talking to each other, remember? Wigs off.
How long have you known Jean? 6 months? 2 years? 5? 10? What's the truth, Harry?
30.
She came voluntarily, didn't she? Then after, 3 days at the hotel, she realized her feet were getting cold. She got cold feet and she started missing her slippers. By the time her husband and 62 coppers descended, she was going home anyway. It wasn't kidnapped, was it, Mr. Overton? I bet you like to call yourself a gentleman.
Yes, I do.
And gentlemen always walk on the outside of the pavement.
What do you mean?
Protecting the lady. I admire you, Mr. Overton. It takes a lot of courage to lose someone you love with grace and then go on protecting them just so that they can go back to... Does Ken know about you and Jean?
I'd have given anything to have what he's had. Of Jean. Anything. I had my chance. That's the irony. 30 years ago, I had first bite of the cherry, and I didn't take it. And I spent my life pursuing what I could have had in the first place. Terrible, Mr. Hay. Terrible. And foolish.
She's doing it all properly, by the book. We know this because she went to Wendy first. Then home to Billy. Then...
Tom.
Could be.
Alex.
These are the players she'll need. Let's take a look at them. Wendy.
On the fence. I said at Chambers she won't calm down on either side.
So, she doesn't get Wendy.
Billy.
Billy won't know if he's coming or going. He loves me, he loves her. He owes me, he betrayed her. Billy'll crash about and maybe just about support a bit in a crashing about meaningless way.
Alex.
No. Alex is a banker. Alex is a boy's boy. At the end of the day, we're all boys. Even Rose used to be a boy. I miss her. I do. I love her and I miss her. Stupid cow.
I've started something.
Something?
Something.
And are you going to tell me what it is?
I don't think Peter McLeish should be seen at Clark anymore.
Right. Jesus, why?
Why?
No, not why. I know why. Jesus, Rose, have you really thought about this?
I'm just canvassing opinion.
And is mine the first opinion?
After Wendy.
And what did Wendy think?
She's playing safe.
He's Daniel's godfather.
Do you believe in God? No.
What?
In which case, Godfather is a sentimental appointment only.
He's massive. He's in our blood, all of us.
I need your support, Billy. It's gone a long way. There's momentum, and I can't stop it. And I need you.
That's not fair, Rose.
Fair?
Well, what can I do? How can I say no?
Do you want to say no?
It has to be you, Rose. Alex. Alex is the key. He's got to be with us if we're going to get anywhere.
Hello?
Hello, Helen. It's me. I wanted to say it. I miss you. I miss you and I want you back.
Have you any idea what it was like for me? When he told me about you and Stevie, I mean, I already knew it. I worked it out for myself that you were...
He told you? He? Who's he?
Peter McLeish.
That's geriatric crime. I'll tell you what, don't knock it. It's a growth area. Crime for the over 60s. You know why? Viagra. The senior clerk's new best friend. It extends manhood. And if your manhood is extended, then things like a career in crime get extended too. If you limp downstairs, your average blagger's going to hang up his balaclava. But Viagra and the elongation of the blagger's erection capacity buys us 10 more years of active blagger.
I spoke to Helen.
I'll leave the room, shall I? And you can stop being silent. You know what I really dislike? How lonely it is. Because I am serious about McLeish and his doings, I always feel like I'm being left high and dry.
High and dry?
Alone with earnestness. Because seriousness can so easily be turned into earnestness when the listeners tell the better jokes. And the other way, silence. Listen. Here comes earnestness. Here I am, high and dry.
I'm with you, Rose. Call me Ernest, but I'm on your side in this.
Meeting tonight. Be there, Alex. I can't do this without you. Thank you.
Is this a husband and wife ticket? It seems that way, but is it? Is it Rose or is it you and Rose?
Yes. Yes.
You said it twice, yes, yes.
So?
Well, that's as giveaway as the fatal pause of the lick of the lips.
It's frightening, the whole thing. Moving against him, the prospect of doing without him.
Love or fear? Do you love him or are you scared of him?
Both. You sure you want this?
Are you?
Apart from anything else, she seems like a nice girl, Celia. More ex-client.
A nice girl. Niceness isn't a part of things, Hussein. You have to be single-minded. Do the thing that has the best chance of getting your client off. Full stop. Bugger nice girls.
You sound...
Honest. Honest is the word you're looking for. The law doesn't have room for people who don't wear blinkers.
Barlow, after court. Rose and her stuff.
Right.
Where do you stand in all this?
I haven't had much chance to think about it.
Not too much rock and roll?
That kind of thing?
We've got a lot going on, Tom.
Yeah.
With all this McLeish business, we should be grown up, you and me.
Yes. Grown up.
Shut up, Naperia. Total silence on this. I do all the talking all the time to everyone. And I don't want my talk contaminated by crap from the likes of you. This is pure me from here on in. This is treason. And when treason kicks in, every word counts.
We've laid all the groundwork. All we need now is for you to go into the witness box and talk. Just talk about Jean.
I can't do that.
What? Can't? Won't?
I did it. I kidnapped her. I made her leave her house. I made her get in the car, and I made her come with me to Scarborough.
Why?
I had to stop it. All this endless. I took her away, and I said to myself, this is it. Either she'll stay with me, or she'll resist. And we'll end up here, in court, with this. I gave her the environment to make the choice. And she did, and here we are.
But that's fear. That's her fear speaking. What made you think that 3 days with you would be enough to get rid of 30 years with him, of his dominating ways? She was wrong, wasn't she, to spend 30 years with him? That's why you forced the issue. But 3 days in Scarborough wasn't going to prove that to her.
We all have to take responsibility for our actions. I haven't got 30 years to redress the balance. Nor has Jean. 3 days had to be enough. She chose. She took responsibility. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm not going into the witness box. It's over.
You live 50 miles away from your father's house.
Yes.
You were completely estranged, you and your father.
Yes.
He didn't like anything about you.
No.
But Celia, your sister, your father liked and respected.
Yes, he did.
You know the next question.
I think so.
Why? Why did you bury your father? Was it because it saved you the cost of a funeral? For a man who didn't love you? For a man you didn't love? Darren, you're going to have to answer the question.
I wanted to do one thing right for him. One thing that he couldn't say I hadn't done. I failed him during his life. I didn't want to let him down in death. It's what he wanted.
I'm going to ask you a question you're not supposed to answer. Because it's a question for lawyers.
Ask it anyway, Mr. Alley.
Do you consider that burying the body of your father in order to keep faith with his last request is an act that ought to be called indecent?
For the record, the witness is shaking his head. And for the record, I think all of us are.
Brave, clever, and right.
Thanks.
I meant your client.
Oh.
But the same applies to you. For a moment there, I thought you were going to go cutthroat, which would have been much less impressive.
Thanks.
For?
Not running cutthroat when it was on for you to do it.
It's a pleasure. Is that a bit pompous? Am I being a little pompous?
You're being a bit pompous.
It's the suit. It does it to me.
You know what I think? I think we should get profoundly drunk.
Five letters, all of them Italian.
What?
I've got the answer.
What answer?
To this.
This?
V-E-R-D-I.
Verdi.
Grunge and Throb both got it from the maestro. This is Verdi.
Public domain, no copyright. How could they...
The power of advertising. Giuseppe sells cars, Grunge and Throb watch telly. Bingo, they pick up the tune.
You are a brilliant, brilliant man.
And someone you couldn't live without, Thomas. You know what I'd do? I'd walk in there after lunch, late, a bit late. Everyone waiting, don't speak, full court, love of my life in the public gallery. And then with a lot of slowness and a deeply straight face, press the play button. Giuseppe V, full blast, crescendo. End of case.
Harry Ovenden has chosen not to give evidence. And I can't tell you about what he might have said. And I can't tell you about what he's like. Those are the rules. But between you and me, I'm a bit tired of rules. I've looked hard at Harry Ovenden. Maybe harder than I've ever looked at any client. And I see courage, integrity, and dignity. And I see a profoundly moral man. Most defendants avoid going into the witness box to protect themselves. You might like to ask yourselves, is Harry Ovenden doing this? Or is he protecting someone else? Morality and law are not the same thing. And there is such a thing as a moral crime. And if you don't believe that, well, then you're lesser beings than Harry Overton. I have faith in your ability to see past the rules and the laws. I hope you can find the courage to prove that faith justified.
I feel compromised. All the time. I feel that he's under my skin.
Do the means justify the ends?
Exactly.
And in your view, they don't?
No, in my view, the means go way beyond what we should be prepared to put up with.
We need to be very clear. A small move against Peter could have profound consequences.
You mean you're scared of him?
I'll get some more drinks.
Where's Alex?
Have you reached a verdict upon which all of you are agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Faith. You've always had it in me.
Yeah.
The thing about faith is it has to be tested. Faith is hard. Maybe the hardest thing. Which is why if you stay with it, it's the best thing any of us has got. Later. Lovely boy.
Hi.
Hi. I was just waiting for Tom. He got swept away, press photographers.
He's in the bar.
I'll just go.
Helen.
Yes?
It was him that finished it. If it hadn't been for Peter telling you...
No, wait. You didn't have to sleep with Stevie Good. Not even Peter McLeish can force you to sleep with a woman you don't want to. You had the affair. The affair was the problem, not how I found out. Grow up, Alex.
What I need to hear, Rose, is something clear-cut from someone other than you. Some proper support for what you're saying.
I'm gonna find Alex. He said he'd be here. Don't go away.
Something else. Forget faith.
Responsibility.
I wanted to say something else. Sorry.
I feel older.
Older?
Yeah, older.
How much older?
About 29. Pour me one, too. Say it again.
What?
Well, you've never said it before. Let me hear you say it again.
Sorry.
Bastard.
Bastard. Sorry.
You didn't say anything. You didn't support me.
I don't agree with you. And I'm glad. It's a good thing. We've got a strong enough relationship to stand us having different opinions. I do not agree with you about Peter.
You didn't tell me. You didn't let...
I was listening. I was making up my mind.
Anyway. It's over now.